Hello, I'm Michael Dutton. I'm your town manager in the town of Bridgewater. And today I want to talk a little bit about 46 Summer Street. 46 Summer Street, also known as the old mobile station, was a piece of property that was taken by eminent domain by the town council last year for park purposes. And today we want to figure out exactly what you think would be a good use for that property along the lines of a park property. So this is an opportunity for you to weigh in on the kinds of things that you'd like to see there. And how do you do that? You'll see at the end of the presentation and during the presentation a link that you can directly comment about what you'd like to see. We'll take those comments, we'll collate them. Melissa and I and the steering committee will narrow down some of the options, and then we'll draw up a final design, and based on that we'll go out and look for a way to get this built and get this done. With me today is Melissa Desjardins, who's a landscape architect who has specialized in just the kinds of properties that we're looking at today. As a bit of history, Melissa designed the fountain that sits in front of the Academy building, the current town hall, which is operable usually April through October.
I would say totally helped redesign it, as well as the new kind of patio space, gathering space in front of the town hall. I also helped with the original music alley, and last year just helped with the senior center master plan, which I understand some of those components are starting to get onto the works to get funding, like the walking trails and maybe the outdoor dining, community gardens. Also a former Bridgewater resident, used to live a few blocks away, so quite familiar with the site and all the opportunities and constraints it has.
So Melissa is very well versed in Bridgewater and Bridgewater projects, and so today we're going to introduce you a little bit to the old mobile station, 46 Summer Street, that the council took by eminent domain last year. So let's dig right into it. Melissa, if you want to go over the property and just what it looks like and right now, and then maybe what the plans are.
So here's the site analysis. We're looking at the property as if you're a bird looking directly down an aerial. You can see the white in the middle is the building. Right now it's a lot of broken asphalt. There is in the yellow a driveway easement, so that bit of driveway asphalt has to remain in order for the residents behind the building to have access. And then you'll see in red some really steep topography. There are points in red that we go about an 8-foot grade change there. And then as you approach the crosswalk, it's a little bit more gentle. Next door is the Floral Tea Little Park, and in full disclosure, I am helping the Bridgewater Improvement Association, the BIA, look at some opportunities they have there to look at both properties in cohesion and hopefully have some sort of link in between to be determined. You can go to just refresh everyone's memory of what the site looks like. Again, it's a lot of pavement. It's not very welcoming for pedestrians to go enjoy the space right now. Here is that easement. I do know the town had some, was that through the town to kind of little facelift, the little paint job to the right?
We did a little bit of a facelift, yeah.
That looks great. And then there are bathrooms here, which is a bonus. And as we think about what could this building be, it's great that there are facilities there. And of course, looking across the way, our neighbors have beautiful space. The Bridgewater Improvement Association's park there, and then across the street, the cemetery with the wall. There's also a wall in between the properties that I know the BIA wishes to retain as part of the design. We do have a kind of a here's another view from the park up to the mobile station, so you can see how steep that is, and then that intersection is a little bit tight. Everything's kind of overgrown in some places, so you can kind of see the crosswalk situation is a little bit tricky. So, Michael, some of these images, would that even be possible in Bridgewater, a raised crosswalk? Has that happened here, or any kind of fun, more like a rainbow or stamped concrete?
I think that's a great question, Melissa, and one of the things that we've talked about as part of our downtown revitalization program is doing precisely what you just highlighted there, some version of that, whether it's a raised crosswalk, whether that's painted crosswalk, some kind of interesting design that can be uniquely Bridgewater. So absolutely, that's a possibility, and especially at that intersection, which is an awkward intersection to say the least. We want to make sure that any kind of crossing in that spot is going to be a safe, very, very safe crossing, because we certainly would anticipate a lot of pedestrian traffic going back and forth.
Right, and the idea of this park is for it to be a neighborhood park, right, and not have, there's a few parking spaces that we, which we'll see in the plan next, that we've designated, but for the most part, as part of the Bridgewater master plan, we're hoping that there's increased density, correct me if I'm wrong, so with increased density, people have fewer yards, which with them, people would look for more park space to get outside.
Nope, I think that's exactly right. We have Stiles and Hart Park, which is obviously further down the road on the other side of the river, as a potential sort of natural park. And then in town, further in town, obviously we have the Common, but we think this is a great opportunity to provide sort of a destination park for people who may want to come and have a lunch, sit down, have a lunch in an attractive place. Perhaps sit down and play a game of checkers or play cards or what have you. We think it would be a perfect location for something along those lines.
Right. So as we talk about what we've created so far with the plan, which we'll get to next, it's just important for everyone to realize that the plan is not set in stone. It's been my experience that you don't know what you want until you see what you don't. So this is the first step. You don't go and buy the first house you ever see. So this is an attempt to clean up the park. There's some fun ideas here, but we're here to listen for more ideas from the community of what the building can be and what the space around the building could be. So I'll quickly walk you through one option. Again, to the left, we have the driveway easement and a couple of ADA parking spaces. Around the building could be some kind of more decorative paving instead of asphalt, concrete pavers, bricks, stamped concrete, all options. Right now, there is shown a connection to the Floral Little Park next door, as well as another sidewalk that goes straight into the central paved area there. And the reason for that is that there is about a 2 to 3 foot grade change from where that crosswalk is up to the building itself, so we can need kind of an elongated path in order to not have a full handicap ramp. Right now, in order to capitalize on that steep grade change, I'm showing some terrace seat walls. Of course, that'll be dependent on the budget, but that was just an attempt to kind of capitalize and make use of that grade change in a creative way. Right now, the grade really is not sustainable for open lawn. So if we kind of regraded that, you can see there's some numbers up in the right hand that indicate a foot of grade change. That's what you see, the 78 down to the 74. So we're kind of cutting back that hillside and making that more gentle. And then we can look at more of a bird's eye view, looking in so you can see those few parking spaces. Now, many people might have a strong position to that trellis structure, and I'm not a building architect, but I'll give you the background of how that came to be. One of our steering committee members thought that the building could house some kind of temporary or permanent art installations, and the little I know of architecture is that architects try to make a building speak to what its use is. So when I heard art, I said maybe this kind of covered structure could be something more whimsical and creative, and offer people a chance to still be outside in a covered way without the building being open. I could also see some kind of more traditional wood pergola structure, depending on what the building is, but we haven't designated what the building is yet. So this is just to kind of starting to get creative with what their ideas for the space could be. Another option is not doing the seat walls and just having another link to the little park next door, which is a gentle set of stairs, and then just leaving that hillside, a grassy, more gentle hill. You're still seeing the same walkway and some kind of separation between the street sidewalk and the park itself. Of course, that'll be budget driven, but the idea first was some kind of low stone wall to look like the cemetery across the street. You're seeing some planting behind it, which would help with stormwater mitigations, kind of rain garden, vegetative swale. I could also see this stone wall being a split rail fence or just a really dense, low evergreen hedge. So here's the final street view, looking kind of down the hill into hopefully the garage doors would kind of just be open glass and a lot less broken asphalt.
Melissa, does the stone wall help mitigate some of the noise that might come
That
by
would
the
be the
automobile?
intention, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about how you can influence this park design and try to incorporate your ideas into a final design. So if you look down in the description, you'll see a link, and that link will bring you to a survey which we encourage you to fill out. Tell us what you like about Melissa's concept plans. Tell us what you don't like about Melissa's concept plans, and tell us if there's something specific that you think would be a good park use for that piece of property. So there are no right or wrong answers. Melissa has given us some great concepts upon which to generate other ideas that you may have. So I encourage you to click on that link and give us your thoughts and comments through that link. Let me just say that if you leave comments, if you're watching this on LinkedIn or you're watching this on Facebook and you leave a comment, we don't necessarily see those. So if it's really important to click on the link and just fill out the link. Doesn't have to be extensive. You can just tell us what you'd like to see there and the options that would be good for you.
And that is also important for funding, right? So some of the funding sources require public engagement, and having people properly go through the channel and filling that out, not leaving it on Facebook is the way to get more funding. And that link will be good till June 1st?
That link should be good until the end of May. June 1st is when we'd like to get some comments back. And as Melissa points out, we'll incorporate those into grant funding applications for state and potentially federal grants. And we are hoping to do most, if not all, of this project with privately generated funding and also government-funded grant funding. So it's really important for us to document what you think and for us to incorporate as many of your ideas into this design as possible.
Great. And we're hoping to get this done by in a year or two, correct?
We are hoping to get a grant, get on this year's grant funding cycle, which would bring us through next year and potentially get some construction going about a year from now. So that's the objective. That's in government speak, that's a pretty aggressive timeline. But in our world, we want to make sure that whatever we do there, and I've said this before many times, whatever we do there, we want to make sure we do it right, and we want to make sure we do it with as much input from residents as we can possibly get. So,
right.
So that's why this is so important to us, to be able to get this idea and get your concept plans out to as many different people as possible, just so that they can give us feedback on what they'd like to see there.
And even if the concept plan, what I had shown was kind of bare bones, you can also add elements later to kind of enliven the site further as more funding becomes available. So. And
that's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of it. So anyway, I encourage folks to click the link in the description. Again, if you're watching on social media platforms, just click that link in the description and let us know what you think. Send us all your feedback. It is really important to get it documented and get it into us so that Melissa can use it for a final design, and we can document some of the input that we've had from residents.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for listening. Again, I'm Michael Dutton with Melissa Desjardins, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say.